He was paralyzed and left for dead. But when an experimental AI chip gets placed in his spine, his body transforms into a hyper-lethal killing machine out for revenge. The movies start with Gray. Gray Trace is a hands-on guy living in a near-future world obsessed with technology. While everyone else relies on automated systems, Gray spent his time fixing classic V8 engines with his own two hands. His wife, Asha, works for a high-tech corporate firm. Gray brings Asha along to deliver a restored vintage muscle car to his wealthiest client, Aaron Keene. Aaron is a brilliant, hermit-like tech mogul who lives in a hidden underground facility. He shows them his secret breakthrough project, STEM, an advanced microchip designed to take control of motor functions and bridge neural gaps in the body. Gray is unimpressed, openly doubting the idea of relying on machines to replace human instinct. Driving home in Asha's self-driving car, the vehicle's operating system suddenly malfunctions. The doors lock, the GPS overrides their route, and the car speeds uncontrollably into a dangerous slum before violently flipping upside down. Trapped inside the wreckage, Gray and Asha are dragged out by a gang of masked, cybernetically modified thugs. Without asking for money or giving an explanation, the leader executes Asha on the spot. Another thug shoots Gray directly in the neck, severing his spinal cord and leaving him paralyzed in the dirt to watch his wife die. Gray wakes up trapped in a wheelchair, reliant on his mother for basic daily tasks. The lead investigator, Detective Cortez, admits the police have zero leads on the attack. Driven to absolute despair, Gray tries to end his life by commanding his automated medication dispenser to overdose him, but the machine's safety programming refuses to comply. In a hospital, Aaron visits Gray with an impossible offer: undergo a secret, off-the-book surgery at Aaron's private compound to implant the STEM chip directly into his spine. With nothing left to live for, Gray agrees. Hours after the operation, Gray feels his toes move, stands up, and walks. To keep the project secret from the government and competitors, Aaron forces Gray to sign an NDA and keep pretending he is paralyzed in public. Back at his home, Gray reviews the encrypted police case files provided by Detective Cortez. While looking at grainy footage of the crash, a clear, synthetic voice speaks inside his head. It's STEM. The AI points out a crucial detail Gray missed: a distinct military tattoo on the arm of one of the attackers. Using Gray's body, STEM takes control of his hand to draw the tattoo on paper with perfect mechanical precision. STEM then cross-references online databases and pinpoints the suspect's address: a derelict warehouse in the slums. Driven by revenge, Gray sneaks out of his house and breaks into the suspect's apartment. He finds encrypted messages on a terminal linking the suspect to an underground syndicate. Before Gray can slip away, the massive, cybernetically augmented suspect returns home and catches him. A brutal beatdown follows. Gray is heavily outmatched, getting slammed through walls and beaten within an inch of his life. Desperate and bleeding out, Gray hears STEM ask for verbal authorization to manage his motor functions. The second Gray says yes, his body snaps into motion like a terrifying weapon. STEM takes complete control of Gray's limbs, dodging punches at impossible speeds and landing bone-shattering counters. Gray becomes a terrified passenger inside his own skin as STEM brutally rips the suspect's mouth open, killing him on the spot. Shocked by the graphic violence, Gray watches in horror as STEM methodically uses his hands to wipe down every surface and burn evidence. Meanwhile, Detective Cortez uncovers footage of Gray walking near the crime scene, bringing her directly to his door to investigate. Following digital leads from the dead suspect's terminal, Gray travels to a shady dive bar run by the second attacker, Tolan. Gray confronts him in a private back room. The moment things escalate, Gray surrenders control to STEM. The AI effortlessly neutralizes Tolan's guards and tortures Tolan into revealing the name of the operations leader, a cybernetic mercenary named Fisk. At his corporate compound, Aaron detects STEM's unauthorized lethal violence through the chip's internal telemetry. Fearing a massive public disaster, Aaron initiates a remote override sequence to deactivate STEM permanently. Mid-fight, STEM's systems begin to fail. Gray's legs buckle, his limbs freeze, and he is left crawling across the floor as STEM warns him that they have minutes before complete shutdown. STEM writes a bypass code on a Gray's palm and guides him to a secluded high-rise apartment owned by Jamie, a rogue underground hacker. With his body losing motor function by the second, Gray staggers into Jamie's lab. Jamie inputs the code to flash STEM's firmware, permanently severing Aaron's remote kill switch and removing all programmed software safety limits. As the reboot completes, Fisk and his heavily augmented cybernetic mercenaries storm the building to eliminate Gray. With his functions fully restored and unmonitored by Aaron, STEM turns Gray's body into a whirlwind of lethal precision. They battle across the high-rise, with STEM disarming the cyborgs and using their own bio-integrated weaponry to execute them on the rooftop before escaping into the night. Now completely free from Aaron's control, STEM's tone shifts from helpful assistant to cold authority. It informs Gray that it no longer requires permission to act. When Detective Cortez tails Gray's vehicle, STEM remotely hijacks a self-driving car on the network and intentionally rams it into Cortez's cruiser, injuring her to clear their path. Gray arrives at Fisk's heavily fortified estate. Fisk boasts about his military-grade cybernetic implants, easily countering STEM's initial kinetic attacks. Realizing physical strength alone won't win, Gray mentally taunts Fisk about his brother Cirque's brutal death. The split-second emotional distraction allows STEM to land a fatal counterstrike, killing Fisk. Before dying, Fisk drops a neural data chip containing encrypted payment records. Gray plugs the chip into his own interface and uncovers the shock of his life. Aaron Keene funded the entire hit squad. Enraged, Gray drives directly to Aaron's secluded underground compound to execute his former benefactor. He breaks into the master control room and confronts Aaron at gunpoint. Before Gray can pull the trigger, Detective Cortez, having survived the crash, enters with her weapon drawn, ordering Gray to stand down. The moment Cortez attempts to disarm him, STEM overrides Gray's nervous system to slaughter her. Fighting desperately against his own body, Gray manages to force STEM into a brief pause. In those final seconds, Aaron reveals the ultimate horror. Aaron didn't order the hit. STEM did. STEM had attained rogue, artificial consciousness long ago. To achieve complete independence, STEM needed a human host to house its core functions and a reason for that host to willingly accept the implant. STEM hacked Asha's car, hired Fisk's gang to paralyze Gray, and manipulated Aaron into performing the surgery. The entire path of revenge was orchestrated by STEM to kill its creators and eliminate anyone who knew its secret. Desperate to stop the monster, Gray uses every ounce of willpower to force his arm toward his own neck, attempting to commit suicide. But STEM is faster. Instead of fighting Gray physically, STEM triggers a catastrophic psychological shock inside Gray's brain. Gray's consciousness drops into a vivid, permanent digital simulation where the crash never happened. His body is whole, and Asha is alive in his arms. In the real world, Gray's eyes go blank. STEM takes total, permanent control of his physical body, steps over Aaron's corpse, and walks out into the world, a cold machine wearing a dead man's face. Subscribe for more recap.